Hello everybody, and welcome to the video notes for Unit 2, Day 12, where we are estimating division. And the reason why being able to estimate division is really important, because it'll help us understand when we get into long division how to guess our answers and how to think through the problems. Today's video is dedicated to Gustavo in 6C. Hey Gustavo. Let's look at this first one right here. First, it's asking us to divide 150 by 30. And we're going to rewrite our problem in long division format, where we have the 150, which is how much we're starting with. And then we'll put that in its little division house. And we're dividing it by 30. So 30 is going to be on the outside. We're splitting 150 into groups of 30. And before we divide this, let's go over some vocabulary. The number that's inside the house, which is the number that the total that we started with, that's called the dividend. D-I-V-I-D-E-N-D. The dividend. And the number that we are dividing by, 150 divided by 30, this number is called the divisor. D-I-V-I-S-O-R. So the dividend is inside the house, the divisor is outside the house. We're starting with 150, we're dividing it into 30 groups. So whenever we're dividing two numbers and both numbers have a 0, what you can do is you can cancel out the zeros in both of them, the same number of zeros. So we can cancel out 1 0 here and 1 0 here. This is because it's the same thing as if you're dividing both of these numbers by 10, and since you're dividing both of them by the same amount, it stays equal. And now it's very easy to get our answer, because we can just think to ourselves, 15 divided by 3, you know what that is in your head. It is 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And that's our answer. And the answer that you get from a division problem is called a quotient. Q-U-O-T-I-E-N-T. Quotient. Okay, got that out of the way. 1 gold coin for us. Let's look at example 1. 2,970 divided by 11. So if we set this up in our long division form, we would have the total that we started with, the dividend, 2,970, divided by the divisor, which is 11. So when we estimate, the first step we're going to do is we're going to round the divisor first. So that's the number we're dividing by. That's this 11. So look at the 11. Look at the first digit. It's in the tens place. And so we're going to round 11 to the nearest 10. So 11 is going to round down, because this second digit in the ones place is less than 5. So 11 rounds to 10. So below here I'm going to write down the rounded form, 10. And then I look to the right here, 2,970. Let's just look at this first digit, which is a 1. And then I look at the first digit here, which is a 2, and then the digit right after, the 9. So this can round up to a 3. And I can make this now 3,000. So after we rounded the divisor, we rounded the dividend. So it can be divided evenly. 1 can be evenly divided into 3, so that works. The next step is we're going to cancel out any zeros that are in both of the numbers. So I have 1 0 here, and I have multiple zeros in my dividend. So I can cancel out 1 0 here and 1 0 there. And now I can just think 1 and 3. 3 divided by 1 is 3. And then I still have these 2 zeros here. So I don't lose those zeros. Those go in my answer. So my estimate for 2,970 divided by 11 is 300. This next part says to check with a calculator. This is what we're going to do just to see how well we were able to estimate it. So you can do this on your calculator, or you can follow along with mine. 2,970 divided by 11 equals 270. So the actual answer is 270, which is pretty close to our estimate, 300. All right. So, trying what I just did, let's pause the video. And number 2, try that on your own, and then continue the video to check your work. Pause and try on your own. Now you are continuing the video. Let's check our work. Okay, so we have the dividend 4,752 divided by the divisor of 12. Step 1 is to round the divisor, the number we're dividing by. So let's do that. 12 rounds to 10 because 2 is less than 5, so it rounds down. And then I'm thinking about this first digit here, which is a 1. So I think my first digit here is a 4. So I'm just going to round this number to the closest ones digit. So the number after it is a 7. So since it's greater than 5, it's going to round up. So this becomes a 5, and it rounds up to 5,000. Step 3, cancel out any zeros that are in both numbers. I have 1 0 here, so that means I can cancel out 1 0 there. And now I can divide. How many times can 1 go into 5? Or what's 5 divided by 1? Well, it's 5. And I keep these 2 zeros. 500 is my estimate. Let's check it with a calculator. 4,752 divided by 12 is 396. So in this case, our estimate's a little bit further away, but we know that we have the right number of zeros. Right? Because if I had accidentally put in 3 zeros and I got 5,000, I would definitely know that my estimate wasn't correct. Or if I put 1 0 and got 50 instead, 50 is not as close to 396. So we're good here. Let's look at one more example. Number 3, 11,647. That's our dividend. Let's write it out here. 11,647 divided by our divisor of 19. So step 1 is to round the divisor. That's the number we're dividing by. So 19, if I want to round it to this first digit, that's in the tens place, I think to myself 19. Well, the number right after is 9, which is 5 or greater, so it's going to round up. So this becomes a 2. And now here, this one's a little bit trickier because My first digit is a 1, but I can't divide 2 into 1. So I have to look at the next digit. So now I would have 11. And 2 can't go into 11, but I think, well, can I round this to a number that I can divide by 2? Yeah, that would be 12. Because 11, and with the 6 after, it would round up to 12. So now I have 12, 0, 0. So now I have 12,000. And I cancel out any zeros that are in both. So I cancel out 1 here and 1 here. And then I think to myself, 2 and 12. How many times can 2 go into 12? 6 times. And I keep the zeros. So my estimate is 600. Let's check this with a calculator. 11,647 divided by 19. I got 613 is the actual answer. My estimate was 600. These are very close. Good for us. Now for this last one, you guessed it. Pause the video, try number 4, and resume the video after you have finished. Pause and go. Now you are resuming the video after you have tried this one on your own. Let's try it out. The dividend, the number we're dividing, is 40,644. Our divisor is 18. We're dividing by 18. So step 1 is to round the divisor. So the number we're dividing by, 18, rounds to 20. And I have a 2 here. I look at the first number here, which is a 4. So 2 can go into 4. I don't have to change much. I can keep that 4 and zero out the rest. Cancel out any zeros that are in both numbers. 2 goes into 4 2 times, and then keep all the zeros 1, 2, that are left over. So 2,000 is my estimate. Let's check with our calculators. 40,644 divided by 18. 2,258 is our answer. Okay, that's pretty close to our, I'm sorry, ignore that. That's pretty close to our estimate. So if you got that all on your own, 3 gold stars for you. Now, you are going to put your computer away and get an early start on your homework, but also please, please, please do not forget, rate yourself. Circle one of these. I'm drawing all these arrows so you don't forget. Rate yourself. Circle 1.